Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Michael with RC Crawling. Today we've got some new hobby park wheels that we are going to put onto the C10. It's going to be our first real upgrade to this truck, and I'm going to use some Endura King Trekker tires that I've had laying around. These are 62 millimeter tires. I don't know if it says on here, if I can get it to focus. Yeah, 62 by 22 millimeters. So quite a bit bigger than the stock tires, which is going to require some body trimming also. So let's unpack these tires. Tires are unpacked. We're going to unpack the wheels and take a closer look. All right, let's take a look at these wheels. I've not used hobby park wheels before. So many baggies. Always so many baggies. So we've got the wheel with scale hardware. Looks like they come assembled. Comes with a tool for installing the scale hardware. A couple extra screws. We've got a tool to take the wheel nuts off. We've got some additional hubs. So these are your hexes that screw onto the wheels. You can build these this way, or you can flip them and build them deep dish. I'm going to keep them this way. They look very similar to stock wheels, but they're quite a bit heavier. So I'm going to get these open and we'll take a closer look. All right, so we've got these wheels out. Very similar to the stock C10 wheels. Heavier and shinier. I don't mind the look of the stock wheels, so I found something really similar. Just a little bit more scale look with those scale hardware. It's nice that this comes with a tool to unscrew these so it fits over it. Typically what you use is a 0.05 inch hex head. These do not have recessed heads. So we've got this little tool that these bolt heads fit in, so that'll unscrew your wheel. I'm going to unscrew these and let's take a closer look. So just using this little tool to unscrew these tiny little bolts. That's the last one. And so the components of most beadlock wheels, you have your ring. It's a nice lightweight aluminum ring. It is not vented. Some wheels come with a vented ring, so there'd be a little hole in here. Doesn't have one. This is the back of the wheel. So if you wanted to, you could build these backwards and get a deep dish wheel. This is more of a matte finish, where this is a very shiny finish. I'm going to use the shiny finish, and it'll go together like this with your, I guess this is the hub. This is the backside, attaches to the hex on your axle shaft. So this will go in the back here. The ring goes on, and then the faceplate goes on, and you screw that down when your tire's on there. If you wanted to build these deep dish, it comes with these extra hubs. You can see they're thinner than the ones that it came mounted to. These will give you a -6 millimeter offset. I don't know why car guys decided that negative offset means your tires and wheels come out from the body, and a positive offset means they go under the body further. So the negative offset is going to bring our wheels out 6 millimeters, And that's going to give us a wider stance, help with side hills, and the weight of these wheels will help keep us planted. I am going to eventually switch these tires to yellow Endura inserts, but for now we're going to run foams in these. So I'm going to go grab some foams for this, get the foams in the tires, and then we'll get these wheels mounted up to the tires. All right, got the foams installed in these tires. These tires are directional tread. You can see they have a little V shape in the middle. That V should be pointing down towards the ground when it rolls. So you are going to need to pay attention to the tread pattern on your tires. You want them going, at least I want them going, all the same way. So many times on Facebook, on Instagram, I see people that have, say, 3 tires pointed the same way, and they didn't pay attention and they mount a third one backwards. It's one of my pet peeves. Pay attention to your tread pattern. Make sure they mount the correct way on your wheels, and all face the same direction when you get them mounted on the truck. So now that you've got your tire with the foams or your inserts, whichever you prefer, take your beadlock ring, and it just sits on the inside of the tire. The back of the wheel goes on the back, and then the front sits on the front here. Your wheels may be different than these. You'll have to take them out of the package and study them, see how they go together. And then to screw them all together, you'll want to have your hub on the back. This side faces the inside of the wheel. This side is going to face your hex on the axle. Because if you put it the wrong way, your wheels aren't going to work right. So you got to have this hex for the axles to turn your wheel. Whoops. So that's all going to mount together. You're going to put your screws back through here, line everything up. Alexa's talking in the other room for no reason. So you can see you got to line those up. You got 5 screws. These wheels are easy. Some of them, like on my Power Wagon, have a 16 screw ring. And the way I build these, they're most wheels are similar in construction, where you have a back, a ring, and a front. When I built these, I screwed my ring on first, put the back and the front on, and then finished mounting the tires on the wheels by screwing in the center screws. Some of these are some DJ crawler wheels, no screws on the front. The screws are on the back, a little bit different. These are also DJ crawler wheels, no screws on the front. They're on the back. So you'll just need to study your wheels, see how they are assembled. When you take them apart, put them back the same way. Some of them you can flip like these, some of them you can't. So I'm going to go ahead and start mounting the tires to these wheels. I like to lay them out like this. Just like so. So you know that that's the back side. The front goes on here, and when you mount it, you've got your tread pointed in the right direction. Before we start screwing the wheels together, let's talk about tires. This is the bead. These are beadlock wheels. So what they do is, with the ring on the inside, got the back of the hub, or back of the wheel, front of the wheel. You can see there's a little bit of a lip there. You want to situate these so the wheel sits flat and flush on your tire, and when you screw it down, the ring on the inside and the front and back side of the wheel are going to clamp it down, and that's the bead lock. That locks your bead into the wheel. So when you're crawling, your tires aren't going to slip. If you assemble these incorrectly, not tight enough, or some manufacturers' tires and wheels don't play nice, you'll crawl and you'll notice your wheel is spinning inside the tire. That's not going to happen on these. These feel like they fit well. I've already lost the back of the wheel. I didn't lose the back of the wheel. It's right there. So your hub has screw holes. It's a little bit finicky. You got to line all that up. So I'm going to get them lined up and we'll start screwing these down and talk about the strategy for getting your tires mounted and not slipping your bead. So what you don't want to happen is this slips and suddenly your bead is on the outside of your tire. That's not good. I've got my screw. If this will focus, hello. Got my screw on the tool. Got my wheels and tire, and then I'm going to line this up and just get this started. You don't want to screw it all the way down. You may find it easier to pick it up. I'm going to get this started. I'm not going to bore you with trying to do this on camera. So I'm going to get one started and then we'll talk about how to finish the process. Okay, so I've got one of those little bolts just started. I did not screw it down very tight. You can see this still moves easily. It's not tight, and that's on purpose. So now that you've got one, you're going to work on the next one. And what you want to do is, like a real tire and wheel, go in a star pattern. So started one, started a second. I'm just getting them barely started, just till the threads catch. This is incredibly frustrating the first time you do it. Feel free to take a break. Get your favorite beverage. And just know this is going to be a little bit of a tedious process. So I've got all those started. These wheels are super easy. There's only 5 screws. And now that I've got them started, what you're going to do is just do a few turns. And you're going to do a star pattern, just like you would on a real truck, on a real wheel. Because what you're wanting to do is screw this down tight. So you can see that I can push on this tire and it comes down tighter. So you're going to want to go around in a star pattern. So here, 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 and here. And just slowly crank it down. Do not over tighten these. You can strip these screws out super easy. You can break a screw, break the head off, and then you're in a world of hurt. You're basically having to order new wheels, or you can try to salvage it by drilling it out. I would just buy new wheels. They're 30 bucks. They're not super expensive. So I'm going to go ahead and get these screwed down. And we'll take a look at the final result. All right, got this screwed down. I push on this, so you see it does not clamp, does not go down any further. All I did is just screw these down till they were finger tight. I can unscrew it with my fingers. I screw it down just till it gives a slight resistance. If you crank down on these, you're going to strip it. You're going to have a bad time. So now my tread arrow on the tread is pointing down into the ground. This is going to go on the passenger side. If you put it on the driver's side, suddenly your tread's pointing backwards. So you're going to do 2 wheels for your passenger side, and then you're going to do 2 wheels for your driver's side. They're only going to go on one way. So this can go front or back on the passenger side, and then you'll do opposite assembly, front or back on the driver's side. If you want to, at this point, you can vent your tires. I decided not to vent these, so I'm going to do some inserts. I'm not sure how heavy this is going to be when we're done with it, so I didn't vent it. If you want to vent your tires, this is the best tool for it. I went to, I think, Joann's. You can get these at Hobby Lobby, probably Walmart. It is a leather tool punch, and you use the smallest punch. And if you want to vent your wheels, I typically do it on the inside. You would have to do this with the wheels off the tires. Put this in here, and then you punch a hole. And on the other side, put it in, punch a hole. And what that allows, instead of like this, when you squish all the air out of it, it takes a long time to fill back up. If you vent it, it allows the air to move in and out of your tires easily. So when you're crawling, you get better deformity of the tire, which helps grab onto rocks and obstacles and pull you up. So I'm going to go ahead and finish these wheels. We are going to need to trim the body, because as you can see, these tires are a lot larger. When the suspension flexes, we're going to be rubbing on that body, which is going to stress your motor. It's going to stress your servo. It's not good. So I'm going to go ahead and get these mounted. It's about 11 o'clock at night. I'm going to finish mounting these wheels and tires, and then we will come back in the morning, take these wheels off, trim the body up so these bigger tires fit without rubbing the body, and then we'll get some comparison on the rocks. Here we are in the morning. Got some sleep. I was up for about 20 hours yesterday. That was too much. Figured we'd use the setup table, just see how these wheels and tires change our side hill and vertical climbing and our RTI. So let's test the side hill first. It's 30, 35, 40, about 40. So 40 degrees side hill. We'll do vertical. This is with the battery installed. 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, starting to unload, about, say, 61, 62. It sat back. And for our RTI, whoops, sorry, hope I'm not making anybody motion sick, our ramp travel index. So the way you measure this See how far it goes up while keeping the other wheels on the ground. That's too high. About 11 and a half RTI. And that's still stock. All we've done is move our shocks down to the frame. Let's go ahead and put these tires on. We're going to need to trim the body, and we will get some run footage and test out our side hill, vertical, and RTI again. All right, we're going to take the old wheels and tires off, put the new ones on. I've got these laid out so the treads are facing the right direction when I mount it. And what you're going to need is a 4mm box. You can get this. This is the Injora 8-piece kit that I use. You can go to like Harbor Freight and get a small electronics kit. That'll have most of this stuff. So you're simply going to unscrew this lock nut. It's a little piece of nylon inside, so it locks on the threads and doesn't come unscrewed. And your wheel lifts right off. And underneath this, on the axle stub, we've got this hex. This is what actually spins the wheel when the axle turns. And the way it works is you have this pin that goes through the axle. This hex goes on over the axle, sits right on that pin. So it's locked on there, and it's going to spin when the axle spins. Our new wheels and tires, hex on the back. Pop it on there. These are a little different than any other wheel I've used. It's recessed quite deeply here in the center. But we'll take our lock nut, put it in our 4mm box, and screw it on there. Again, do not over tighten these. You're going to ruin your truck, whoops, if you over tighten it. Right now, this wheel still wobbles. It's still loose. So I'm just going to very gently snug it down. And when you start meeting resistance, that's tight enough. So quite a bit larger, you can see. Sticks out further. We've got that plus 6mm offset, so it's going to give us a wider stance. It's going to help with our side hills, and these are heavier, quite a bit heavier, so that's going to help keep the truck planted when we're crawling. So I'm going to continue working on the rest of these, get them all mounted, and then we will hit the setup table again. There we are, all 4 wheels and tires put on. Quite a bit larger. You can see really can't steer now. So body's going to have to be trimmed for this to be a functional upgrade. I did play with it last night. I put the wheels on and tried to drive it without trimming. Didn't go well. But super cool looking truck now, I think. It just makes it look a little meaner, wider. I love the shiny chrome look of those wheels compared to the kind of dull plastic. So very similar looking wheel, shinier, cooler looking. I like it. Let's try the RTI on this. Should be a little better simply because our axles are wider. Gives us a little bit farther reach. Our axles are not wider. Our stance is wider. About the same, 11. So no real change on the RTI. I would be surprised if we don't see a benefit on the side hill. It's 30, 35, 40, 45, about 48, 49, so an improvement. That's good. That's what, eight-ish degrees of side hill gain. That's not bad for one mod. 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, about the same, 57, 58. Not a huge change on the vertical. So next, let's start looking at this body where the tires rub. What you're going to want to do, turn your steering, see where it hits. So we're going to want to cut this section here. And when it flexes, we're going to have to put a pretty big cut here. We're going to need to either remove, change, or cut this bumper because it's also going to rub on the tires. Same on the rear, but we don't have to worry about steering. I really like this sticker, but I think the rear, especially, maybe the front too, maybe not so much on the front, but the rear we're probably going to have to cut at the top of this sticker and then just follow that line. So I'm going to get the Sharpie and make some marks. So we're just going to cut along the top of here. So we're going to cut all that material off so we don't have rubbing. On the front here, since we have steering, it's going to be a little bit different. I think here we're just going to come down from the top of that sticker. How are we going to do this? Because we can't just cut it straight across here. We wanted, well, let's just go for it. We're just going to cut the sticker off here too. And I'm going to just touch these lines. They're kind of hard to see, but the door lines that are kind of molded in here, I'm just barely going to touch that corner and follow that arc. And then on the bumper, let's just chop it at an angle, something like that. We'll do the same on this side. And I just kind of eyeball this, paying attention to where things line up. So from the corner of the headlights underneath, just about at a 45. We'll cut that. And then the hard part's making it symmetrical on both sides. So we came down here, just barely touched that line. We're going to follow right above that sticker and into the corner of the bumper. And pretty easy here on the back. We're just going to follow the arc of the top of the sticker. We'll try that for a first cut. So I'm going to go grab some scissors. I'll probably take the body off the chassis to make this a little bit easier, and we'll get to trimming. Got the body off the chassis. It's very easy. Underneath the hinge attaches to the chassis rails in the back here with a screw on either side. I took those screws out, so now our body is free, and it's going to make this a whole lot easier to do. I have never trimmed a Lexan body. All my other trucks are hard bodies. So typically I've been doing this with a Dremel, just using some scissors. I think they make Lexan scissors if you want to be super fancy about it. They're probably angled, might make this a little bit easier. I'm going to try the scissors. If they don't work, I've got some of these micro flush cuts. These were like $4 at Walmart. These might work. Maybe not. I think the scissors will work fine. So let's just go for it. I can already tell this is difficult because the scissors want to cut at the back and I can't get them underneath. Let's try the flush cuts. That's okay. So I'm going to figure out how to do this off camera, but that's the theory. We've marked it. We're going to cut it. I won't bore you with me struggling with these scissors to get it cut. I will meet you back here in just a second. Checking back in the middle. Got the rear wheel wells cut. Still working on the fronts. What I found worked using our nice kitchen shears. Don't tell my wife. These are for cooking only. For a rough cut like I've done on the front. And then I'm using my hobby knife to come back and carefully shave and do a smoother, nicer cut. The blade's a little smaller, a little bit easier to get a nice curve when you're cutting. Well, that's coming out pretty well. I'm going to keep working on this, and then I will show you how we're going to deal with that front bumper. Here we are in the cutting booth. Got the bumper marked up for cutting, and we're going to be using a Dremel. If you don't have one of these, it's a great investment if you're wanting to continue to build and modify these trucks, especially if you're into hard bodies like I am. This makes the work so much easier. All we're going to do is use the cutting wheel on the Dremel. If you're not experienced with this, I'd recommend taking... Let me turn that off instead of talking over it. If you're not experienced with dremeling, or if you're more safety conscious than I am, take your bumper off, as you risk going right through your tire or your steering linkage. But we're going to do this quick and sloppy. And it melts the plastic a bit. So just like that, chop the bumper off. We'll get this other side real quick. Close enough. We're going to switch Dremel heads and touch it up a little bit. It's a little bit of a rough cut. So I'm going to switch that and show you how I finish this up. Switched Dremel heads. And you can also test and see if you've trimmed enough. We may have to do some more, because that tire still rubs when it flexes and turns. So I'm going to take off a little bit more here and then get rid of the sharp corners, just so it doesn't catch on stuff as easy. Just rub all the little plastic bits off there. I do like that they molded this in black plastic. It doesn't look so glaringly obvious that we've cut it and exposed the plastic underneath that shiny coat. So, may not be enough, might be okay. Let's go put it back together and run it on the rocks and see how she does. Reattach the body to the chassis. That seems, without running it, like we've done a decent job of trimming. We can always take off more if we need to, as it may still rub too much on that back side there. It may rub too much on the front side there. So we'll test it and see. That chop bumper doesn't look too bad. You could go even more extreme. I wanted to keep the lights, but you could go all the way to there. If you wanted to, you can remove this bumper, put an aftermarket bumper on. You just unscrew it here, and this slides out. And a lot of bumpers have the same attachment. You just slide a new bumper on. But I think it looks pretty cool. It's definitely going to help with ground clearance. And now that the tires are sticking out, you can approach an obstacle and hit it at an angle and get up on it. So enough of me talking. Let's go hit the rocks. Still can't do that line. We'll hit one last line, try to climb the boulder field. So I noticed a good improvement of not rolling this thing so much. Way easier to make lines. It's more planted. I think our next upgrade is going to have to be our servo, because it was not able to move the wheels or hold them in position with these new wheels and tires. These aren't even extremely heavy wheels. I think they're like 23 grams each. So definitely a noticed weight increase. Helps performance, but this little stock servo does not do the trick. So we're going to go with the Endura 11 kilogram servo on our next upgrade. I've got it on 3 of my 4 rigs. The other 2 types of servos I've tried, I ruined, and the Endura 11 kilogram is held up. I am running the NSDRC RS100 on my 4Runner, and it's good. It's a little bit more expensive than the Endura, and I can't tell a difference. I'm running this on a full 8 volts. The Endura can take 7.4 volts. They're about the same to me. If you're comping, maybe that matters to you. I just like crawling in the backyard and with friends. The Endura works. It lasts. Buy once, cry once is the lesson I've learned. So definitely a good upgrade. In a couple weeks, we'll get that Endura servo and we'll toss that in here. And then this thing will really be able to function better. Without steering, you can't do anything. So I hope this was enjoyable. I hope this helps somebody. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all those things. Mash that subscribe notification bell so you're alerted when the next video drops. Leave a comment. What would you like to see done to this thing? We're going to do servo. Do we want to do a budget build? Do we want to try to heat up and bend these plastic links into high clearance links? Should we just throw on some other links? I've got some high clearance links for a C-bolt setup, so we could stretch this. I've never driven a C-bolt setup. I think that'd be fun. I also think it'd be fun to just try a bunch of free mods and try to build a really capable rig with as little into it as possible. So let me know what your thoughts are. What do you want to see? We might do it if it's a good idea. Even if it's a bad idea, we might do it. But this was fun. Hope it was helpful. I think I'm going to next show what I've done on this. This is the ultimate goal for this series. We're going to do a full custom build, custom body, and I'm going to show my process of making this bed. So I think that'll be the next video while we're saving up on our $30 a week budget to get a servo. So in a couple weeks, we'll get a servo. But in the meantime, I think I'll show what I've done to the KEI body if anybody's interested in that. So I hope to see you all again soon.